It's been a week since Clinton lost the election, and I started thinking to myself about women in politics, and because you had all these articles that were saying this proves America is sexist. This proves we'd never let a woman run the country, and that played a small role in it, but I still am of the belief that her biggest problem came from the fact that she had all these just skeletons in her closet and baggage galore. So that was just my view, and along with the whole corruption angle as well. But it got me thinking to myself because a lot of people would say, that about the Bernie Bros, and then I think Sank on TYT was mentioning how he got asked after he expressed his opposition to Clinton's candidacy, why are you against the first woman major party presidential candidate? Or why are you against progress for women or something to that effect? And they always try to prepare these questions as if you did because you didn't like her, you don't want women to succeed, and that's not true. I do want women to succeed. I do want a female president. I just didn't want that one. And to prove my beliefs or whatever, I've actually thought of several um women that are in um higher positions of office or not, who I think would be better than her. And if they ran in 2020, with Trump presumably seeking a second term, I'd presumably go for them over. There's a higher chance I'd support them than Clinton. My attorney general, who just became senator, Kamala Harris. Um, Obviously there's some criticism of her for also kind of being within the whole loyalist Democrat type. Just they're being affiliated with the um, leadership of the party, having the close ties basically, and that's part of the reason I think she could become a nominee in 2020. But at the same time, I'm kind of doubtful of her chances just because she can be attacked in similar ways to Clinton. With the whole big donor things and getting bought out by billionaires. She had over $9 million during her Senate campaign. That didn't just come from, you know, Billy and Joey sending $20 every time they got a paycheck. So she's obviously has her own a little bit of that's a critique that's valid, but it's not to the extent of Clinton. That's kind of my point, that the women I'm going to start naming aren't like Clinton. The other one is Tulsi Gabbard, who I really grew to like over the primary because she reminded me of Sanders. She felt progressive enough to where she could carry on his mantle in the event that he lost, which as we all know what happened. And at the same time, didn't come with the baggage of being, I guess, in their mid 70s. So I really think she's the person that the Democrats should look at seriously for another attempt at a woman being successful in that office. But I don't see her for 2020. I see her for in another 8 or 12 years in some higher office, probably as senator or governor of Hawaii. Um, Now, moving past 2020 and going, let's say 2024 when the Republicans are open again. Uh, I'm very much of the belief that what's her name? Well, there's actually two of them. No, three of them. Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico. She's very popular over there, and won considerably, and doesn't have can't be charged with racism or bigotry against Hispanics because she is one. I know that's a messed up thing, but she doesn't have the same fiery rhetoric that Cruz has, where they say, "Oh yeah, he doesn't like you even though he looks like you." So I think she also could do it. Um, Moving down the list a little bit further, Nikki Haley, for example, in South Carolina, is another um, I mean, it was so irritating to always hear about the sexist, racist South, the sexist, racist South, the sexist, racist South. And what do we get? A Indian person who happens to also be female. The sexist, racist South gave a minority female the highest office um, in the state, except for senator. Yeah, that old sexist, racist South, huh? Um, so that's she obviously has overcome some barriers. I think she's a little bit more humble because I read that she only ran for governor after it was suggested by somebody else. I think the governor before her. Bottom line is, I really believe she also can avoid the whole Republicans are old white guys. I think she can dodge that so easily and so quickly it wouldn't even be an attack point. Um, but again, she is probably going to end up having to, have a little time in the private sector and also deal with trying to stay relevant after getting out of office. So that's really her only obstacle at this point. Um, who's next? What's the other one? What's the other? What's the other one? Um, that's pretty much it. Or that's pretty much all I can think of right now. Um, I really believe I would prefer any of those four I just named over Clinton. And there are other female governors, obviously, and I'm familiar with them. Their names just aren't coming to me right now. Um, but I would prefer them over Clinton as well. I mean, there's just people don't seem to understand why there was this disdain for her. It wasn't because she was a woman. It was because she was using that as a rationale for why we should support her. And I think these other women wouldn't do the same thing. I think they would actually try to run on policy and not try to piggy bank off of I'm gonna be just like Trump. I'm gonna be just like Obama. Like Clinton did with the latter. So that's my opinion. Thank you for watching and have a good night.